And we are back. You are chatting with John P. Today we are going to be talking about some very interesting news for those of you that like Rolex watches or like to keep kind of your ears open and pretty tied close to the brand. Of course, thank you so much for coming back once again. I really do appreciate it. Do not forget the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. That also is appreciated as well. And you can find a whole ton of very cool watches at delraywatch.com. Now, as a bit of a preamble, I will say, sure, there's some comments every 5 videos, every 6 videos, I do a Rolex video. Yes, guys, that's true. I won't say that Rolex is my favorite brand and that's why I'm talking about it, but it's just such a popular topic and so many people do leave in the comments below that they want to hear about this brand and topics around it, and we get so many questions at delraywatch.com about Rolex. It's just unavoidable today, so of course that's why there are a lot of Rolex videos out there. So here's the news, guys. It's just been confirmed that in the UK there is going to be about an average of a 7.4% price increase on the majority of the Rolex models from authorized dealers and boutiques. So the retail prices in the UK starting J1 January 1st of 2020, the retail prices are going to be going up. So there's a couple of things that make this important, right? If you're in the UK first, well, unfortunately, now you have to pay more for that Rolex watch. Now, it goes without saying that they can be difficult to get, some watches, including ceramic bezel, stainless steel, sports watches. There's nothing, funny about that, and there's nothing new or novel about that either. But what is interesting is if you lived outside of the UK and you're from perhaps the United States and you went to the UK with US dollars and somehow you got a watch, maybe even a Datejust, nothing that is that in demand, well, there was a process. You can get the VAT added back. I haven't done this myself, but basically there was a process where, the tax that was built into that product would get removed and you'd actually end up with a pretty good price on a watch, especially in terms of retail price, if you paid retail price and that's what you do. So for those outside of the UK, it was kind of an interesting bit and a little thing you could do. And now, yeah, sure, you can still do it, but the savings are a lot less. Now, setting aside that little scenario, because that's a scenario that exists, but there's other scenarios and there's other reasons that make this really important, right? So in the UK, that's essentially where Rolex started a long time ago, but now it is part of the whole Europe trade zone where, that's a whole nother conversation with Brexit and all of that, but nonetheless, it's part of this zone where really watches just behave a little bit different than the United States. But I will say, looking at precedent, looking at brands and the way that they price watches, Europe tends to get the prices before the United States for whatever reason. So if we look at what potentially could be happening in the United States, we could be looking at some serious price increases on Rolex watches. Now, this is a topic we've all been talking about, and you see other brands do it. For example, you see Patek Philippe raising their prices. It seems like almost every year. You see other brands from Richemont raising their prices. Even brands like Panerai, JLC, they're raising their prices because the watch market is just hot. In addition, all of the securities as well as the markets, the S&P, they're all at pretty much record time highs. And so when you consider expendable, disposable income, that kind of money gets allocated towards luxury purchases like watches. So I think when you see a price increase from Rolex, a very hot brand right now, sure, there is some element of kind of compensating for the difference in the currencies, but also we need to consider that, Rolex does realize that they have waiting lists for their hottest models, and also their models that aren't even that hot are also selling because of the way that they handle the distribution of their products through authorized dealers. So do I think that the United States is going to see a price increase? It would not make sense for there not to be a price increase. So if Rolex does not increase the price for the United States in 2020, I think that they're probably making a mistake as a business. Of course, as a watch collector, and as watch collectors, you in the comments below, you say it all the time, and I can agree in some instances, it's a little bit upsetting and disappointing as a watch geek to see watches that are icons just become almost unobtainable luxury. Whereas, on my wrist today, I have a gold 1601 with an aftermarket diamond bezel. I posted on my Instagram, The Real John P, where I'm running a poll if you think that the bezel ruined the watch, but it doesn't look as distasteful as sometimes the aftermarket diamonds do. So check that out and vote, because I'm just genuinely curious. But rolling back into this topic, I want to hear really, and I want to read in the comments below what you all think as watch collectors. I know many of you feel beat up by the Rolex brand and company, some very loyal 50-year plus customers of the brand that just gave up. I see it from a couple of guys out there. You just gave up on the brand. Now, leave in the comments below what is too much as well. Do you think that they can get away with a 7-8% increase for US? I mean, we're already looking at some of the Rolex Submariners and things like that, a high premium in the secondary market, but retail prices, if they jump up 7-8%, are you still willing to pay it even if the watches stop becoming as hot as they currently are? I want to hear your opinion and anything else you want to see in the future. Now, of course, I'll say that this is a bit of a shorter video. It's the holiday season here. Typically, I take a little bit of a break around the holidays. We're going to be doing some reduced hours here so that the rest of our team that we've added this year can enjoy some time with their friends and family, do some traveling. So there will be some reduced holiday hours here, but honestly, I'm getting a little bit antsy, and I just had to release a little bit of video with some really some news in the watch industry. So thanks once again for tuning in for Chatting with John P. You have been chatting with John P. Ciao.